And then let's take the movement piece out of it, and let's just talk about doing hard things. Like,
Love it.
how, because a lot of people, like, we struggle, right, as a society to do the thing that we know we need to do because it's difficult. And we, as human beings, go towards the path of least resistance. So what advice would you have to someone that's kind of stuck down the path of least resistance and they know they need to do the thing that has more resistance?
For sure. Well, I think first and foremost, it's important to recognize resistance, because a lot of people, they think that something is hard because it's hard, and it's just like, well, it's hard for me, so I'm not going to do it, right? So they don't even recognize that first and foremost they're facing resistance in their life. So I think understanding that resistance is just a natural part of our life, and it's something that's imperative to everyone's life, I think is the first step. I think the second step is to look within yourself and try to get a full, higher level view of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Because you can't really start facing resistance if you don't even know where it is that you're going, right? So resistance isn't inevitable, but first we gotta at least have a direction, right? So if you wanna, say, experiment with something like this, or you're going for a master's degree, or whatever it is in your life, you're trying to start a business, I think having the end goal in mind is important to start with. And then when that resistance arises, don't look at that as a failure or a stopping point, but rather as a teacher or a lesson. Because in that resistance lies this education for you that is going to allow you to propel through life from those experiences. And I think the more that you can become aware, comfortable, and then execute on what it is that you're trying to achieve, the less resistance is going to not necessarily hold you back, but it won't carry so much weight on you when you face it. And yeah, I think that'd probably be the advice that I would give. It's something that I face on a daily basis. I think lots of people deal with it. And for me, probably one of the biggest things that I have found has helped is really looking at that as a teacher. And it's my path through life, right? It's through that resistance that shapes me into the person that I'm going to become on the other side.
Cool. And then any recommended readings or teachings to search to sort of get a better understanding of that?
For sure. I think a book you suggested to me, The Obstacle is the Way,
Yeah.
Ryan Holiday.
Amazing.
Outstanding book. I think Stoicism is just a great philosophy in general. Another book I really like is The War of Art as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Stephen Pressfield, yeah.
Really, really great book. He talks about the resistance. He gets into the philosophical and spiritual principles around that as well. And I really enjoy that. Those would probably be the two main ones that I think I would recommend. If you're looking to actually reading through autobiographies as well, I have found to be really beneficial as well, because we seem to think that people just get this overnight success as a result of nothing, right? And then you read someone's autobiography and it's like failure. They're down, and then they went back up, and then they went down even lower.
Somebody dies, and it just goes
it's just
on.
one thing after another,
insane.
right? So I find autobiography so inspiring, because it's like, wow, like I thought that person was just like lucky, but they went through like so much shit to get to where they are, you know? And it's like, if that's the level that I want to operate from, I probably have to go through the same amount of shit or more, right? So autobiographies of people that you look up to, I think, is a great place to look at as well.
Great. What's the favorite?
Honestly, I like to read books that compound a whole bunch of autobiographies together. A recent book that I just read is called Mastery by Robert Greene, and he has essentially like summarizations of 15 to 20 different people who are masters in their given field. And he goes through kind of their autobiography of how they got to being a master in their field. And that taught me a lot about like looking at the Benjamin Franklins.
That's an incredible story.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Like, again, someone who I'm just like, oh, you know, he was just a smart guy.
Just Benjamin Franklin.
You just
know him as Benjamin Franklin. It was like...
Yeah, and even like Albert Einstein, right? People like put him on this pedestal, like, oh, he was just like, you're some genius, like I'll never be able to achieve that. That dude sucked at school, right? He was just really good at abstract
He was
thinking.
at a post office as well, didn't he?
He worked, that's where he generated his theory of relativity. He's working at a post office, making like no money, right? And people don't even think. I know I didn't think about that, right? So it's like, wow, these people's stories are like so empowering, you know?
So, thanks, man. I think we can wrap it up there. I know you got to go, so
Cool. Thank you. Awesome, bro.
always a pleasure. Hey legend, thanks for taking the time to watch that video. If you want to know more about Mark Suski, you can just check him out below. I'll put all the links to his YouTube, his Instagram, his Facebook, and his website and whatnot. If you want to train with him, he is in Vancouver. I've been training with him for 3 years. Unbelievable human being. And as a little ask from me to you, it would mean a lot if you just hit the subscribe button and then next to it, hit the like button. Just gives us a boost, helps us get this message out, creating more moments that matter and encouraging more people to do hard things and reap the rewards in their lives. So once again, just click on that button. It would mean a lot to us, and I hope you have an epic week.